What's up? This is Chris, the Stat Guy, and welcome to the Stat Guy Show.
Jump on Ryan. Ryan was just laid on the light, and I was like, "Oh, let's go."
Let's go. Giuseppe will just, you're watching him long enough, he'll jump. That's what he does. We don't call him Mr. Kangaroo for nothing.
Really a team sport anyways. Whenever we talk team, it's about having each other's backs. It's about helping each other.
One thing that we do good at is putting on a show.
Live on the Statman Show, and I know people and powers that be, I know that you watch this show.
What is up? Welcome to the Stat Guy Show, episode number 75. Joining me tonight is an MPK veteran. He's third all-time in round wins and has earned 2 invitational event wins. Mr. Scott Taylor, how you doing, sir?
Man, doing good. Thank you for having us on. And I like that number 75. That was my football number. So I didn't know it was episode 75. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, I didn't know you played football. Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I played high school, a little bit of college ball, just community college, nothing big, but we had a good time doing it. And when I went college, man, that was I tell you, that was like game night every day practicing. That was brutal. The guys that play it professionally, I could only imagine how they feel every day. So
Right, I bet. Yeah, I played a little bit. I played in college, and I played a little bit after that too. But I gotta guess, Scott, is D line, O line, one of those two positions?
both offensive
Yeah.
line, defensive line. Crazy story that I'll make really short is I played defensive lineman all through high school, coming up. And our offensive center got hurt the last game. And so I swung over and played offensive center and defense the last game of the year and got a scholarship for offensive center. I played one game. So
Nice.
I was like, that's just a lucky break there. So
Cool, man. That's awesome. That's good stuff right there. So how have you been, man? I look back, it's been over a year almost since I've had you on the Stat Guy Show. I haven't done a show in months, but I've been keeping track of everybody's social media and stuff like that. And you've been pretty busy.
heck yeah. That's
Today I
wow.
noticed-
That's a year's a while, man. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like just yesterday we were talking, but time flies. I mean, we've been super busy, between getting ready for this season. We did a little bit of pro mod stuff over the winter. We're super happy with the outcome of that. We didn't win an event, but starting from scratch with a new car or an old car, new car to me. I think we done pretty good. We went like a 67 or something the first time out, then a 64 the second time out, then we went a 61 the third time out. So I don't know if it can keep improving, but man, if it does, we're gonna have a hot rod. So we were very excited about that, and from digging that thing out of the strawberry field to going a 61 the next pass, it's pretty insane.
Right. Yeah. I definitely want to get into all that pro mod stuff because that's the most recent stuff that I've seen you've been doing. First off, I just really wanted to congratulate you, Scott. I know I did at the for the Stat Guy Awards when I had you on. But I've been waiting to get you on the Stat Guy Show and introduce you as a invitational and winner. I know it was a long time coming, and I was so happy for you. I'm so happy that you got to. So I'm glad I got to introduce you as that tonight. So.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That is probably one of the hardest hurdles that I've ever overcome in my life. I tried for 7 years, and man, we landed that one. I thought we was going to get several more, but we landed 2 pretty quick. And
Yep.
towards the end of the season, there we was making a run for it, and that's why I'm so excited about this season. Coming up is we left off with a lot of things we learned, and it's not necessarily the car, it's just the whole program of how to go fast. And I'm so excited to go shake it back up with the fastest guys in the world, on no prep. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited. Plus, I mean, got $100,000 races left and right on small tire, and then $40,000 on big tire. I mean, my heart's pumping just thinking about it. I mean, it's just going to be huge. and some news I got just right before we got on the show. They have 100 small tire cars locked in for the small tire no prep race.
That's amazing.
$100,000 to
That's
win
amazing.
and 100 cars locked in. That is insane. So
Yeah.
ever who walks away from that is going to be the baddest son of a gun on small tires. I'm telling you, they ain't nobody gonna luck their way through that. That's going to be some
No.
bears.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw Boosted talk about that. Boosted was live. If you haven't seen it, go check out his live feed. I think it was last night. He talked about the small tire events, one being no prep and the other one being radials. But I'm really, I mean, as a Street Outlaws fan since season one, I love the small tire and I love that whole thing. And I've seen all the hardcore small tire racers come to the No Prep Kings. So as soon as they announced that, I'm like, man, it's going to be the best of the best at this for sure. And you, like you said, there's already over 100 entries. So it's
That's insane. I mean, you think about 100 cars that are, the caliber cars that can win 100 grand on small tires. I mean, there's nobody showing up just to be a class filler. So I mean, that's 100 bad mamma jammas, as I would say.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Before we get into all the racing stuff that you got going on, I noticed on your social media today, are you putting up a new shop? Are you building the house? What do you got going on outside of racing?
All of the above, man. I am absolutely busier than I've ever been right now. It all came at one time. So we sold our house. Well, it's under contract. We've got our house sold in Petal. We lived right in the middle of the city limits and just couldn't really do anything. We were restricted with rules and everything. So we moved back to what we call the farmland, which was my parents' land that I grew up on. We have 69 acres out in the country, and so I don't know how, but I talked Heather into letting me build the shop first. I really don't know how. I told her it'd be good for storage, so maybe she don't see this, but I'm telling you. So I talked her into letting me build this shop first. So we're working through house plans right now while they're building my shop. So I don't, and she's still been happy about it. So we'll see how that goes. But between building a new shop, as soon as the house actually closes here in a few weeks, we're going to start on the new house. And then, of course, the Wright trailers, the move we made there has been fantastic. Trailer sales have been great. The customers have been great. So it's just kept me really, really busy.
Yeah.
But we're excited about all the above, and but it keeps me running all day long for sure.
Yeah, you definitely aren't going to be bored, Scott. I can tell you
No,
that.
there's no time to get bored for sure. But and if I do have a minute to sit down, sometimes that's I want to get back up and get back going. So that's the
Right.
good thing about it. There's no time to get bored really.
Right, for sure, for sure. So recently, let's talk about racing. Recently, for the last couple months, I'd say, we have seen you, in what I see as a stretched out No Prep Kings car, but they call it a Pro Mod, I guess. Is that you've been racing in the Drag Illustrated Winter Series? I have a picture of your car, in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Oh, I like that picture.
Picture. This is an awesome picture that I'd seen.
This
was that.
What's crazy is sometimes photos come from the worst passes. That pass was absolutely terrible. It went slow on that pass, but man, it made a great photo. It went out there and spun, shook, and then it rehooked and wheelied, and that's when they captured that picture. So it was a wild ride to go. I needed to go a 61, and I went a 71 right there.
Yeah. There was a lot of buzz when it came to Pro Mods. Let's talk about what came first. Was you going to race Pro Mods before you started talking to Wes Buck about doing the series, or did you get the invite and say, hey, I need to I think I'm going to get a Pro Mod and do this thing?
So two big factors of why I did the Pro Mod deal. One of them, I was riding down the road. Me and Kai was talking on the phone, and Kai said, I think I'm gonna try a Pro Mod race. He's like, why don't you grab a Pro Mod and come with me? I'm like, I don't know. I'll think about it. And then, so on these trips that we go on, I mean, we have 12, 16 hours of driving to think about things, to talk to people. and you know, we always call each other and talk during those times. But and then so he put the, I'm gonna say he planted the seed for me. And then I called and talked to Paul Hayden, American Pride Golf Carts. And like when I see him, all I picture is Pro Mods, and he's one of our main sponsors. And I just run it by him, you know. I said, what do you think about a Pro Mod? He like lit up instantly. And then I talked to Key Superstores, and Key Superstores was all in, 100% ready to roll. And then within 24 hours, we had already set up a meeting with Eric Dillard at Proline to go look at a car that we had found. So that thing happened within 7 days. We owned a Pro Mod, so
Nice.
it went
Nice. So
really
that-
fast. It's all so basically it's Kai's fault.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, all his
He's one of
fault.
the guys- So that was a Proline Pro Mod. So when was the last time it had raced? Who
A
was
long
racing that?
time ago. So
Okay.
I don't know the exact facts, but they said it come from like I think they said Qatar or somewhere overseas. Maybe in Dubai or something. I'm not real sure, but they told me the last person to run it was like Stevie Fast or something like 10 or 12 years ago. So
Oh wow.
and,
Okay.
and that's all just hearsay, so I don't really know. But it did come from overseas. They said it'd been over there for a really long time. So not really sure who was the last person to race it or drive it or but it was totally stripped when I got it. It had
Okay.
and no wiring, no fuel cell. I mean, no accessories whatsoever. Like all the tires, the wheels, the rear gear, like it was basically a shell, a chassis with a body on it. Like all the shocks had to be replaced and everything.
Man, wow. You had some work ahead of you, that's for sure.
For sure. So we got it going pretty quick, and that's why I was so happy for the first outing. We didn't get to test or anything for the first outing. We planned for it, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, following along in the series, in the 3-race series, I was amazed at how many top-notch drag racing guys. I mean, from not just pro mod racers. It seemed like everybody who was in drag racing was involved in this series. How was the competition in your mind, and did you meet your expectations of how you thought you were going to finish the series?
I'm gonna say we met our expectations every race except one, and we had pretty high expectations from the get-go. In our defense, they threw a pretty good curveball at us race one. The first couple of days of testing, the track was similar to what we're used to. And then as soon as they started qualifying, they radial prepped it. And that was the biggest hurdle that we had as a team, is overcoming radial prep.
Yeah,
And,
I can imagine.
A big
Wow.
old floppy tire on radial prep was, I'm telling you, it had a lot of professional teams scratching their heads. I mean, there was 20-year veterans of Pro Mod that was on the outside looking in, just like we was. But outside of that first race, I'm gonna say, man, we exceeded our team's expectations. Race 2, we came in qualified and won a round. Race 3, we come in and qualified again and won a few rounds. You know, made it down to 8. I'm gonna say, like, rolling into the staging lanes and pulling up beside, like, you know, when I pulled up beside Antron Brown, you know, and we, you know, our Mark Mickey, Stevie Fast. No matter who we pulled in the beams with, I felt like we had just as good a shot to win as they did, and that was an absolutely amazing feeling, because all those guys I look up to, you know, everybody has somebody they look up to, and those guys have been doing it. They've been putting in the work, and they're all about the sport. So it's a good feeling racing against the guys that you sort of look up to.
Right. And this was brand new to you, right? Pro Mod racing was.
Yep.
You'd never done that before. Talk about how it's different than MBK, because MBK, you guys usually show up on Wednesday or Thursday of the race, but this is much different, right? You guys show up like you guys are there for like 5-6 days.
Yeah. And you know, we did get there really early each time, and that part was a bit relaxing, but because we only made like 2 passes a day, so even though we were there on Monday, we didn't just like make pass after pass after pass, you know. we unfortunately had a little bit of rain the last couple events, and so we got to watch it rain a lot. It was cold a lot, at those last couple events. The first two events were pretty cold, but all in all, the difference I've seen between Pro Mod and No Prep is really the surface and a little bit of the car, but it's not to say that it's easier. I would say the competition is just as good, even, but the cars drive a little bit easier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It seems like what the surface is going to be. It's a little more consistent. To our deal, I'm sure you've seen, like, on a Friday night, we go out there and those things are all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
some of our guys even sit out, like they don't make the first pass because they're nervous.
Right.
And everybody always picks on me because we send it. They say, "Would you take some power out of it?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." And then sometimes I come back and say that was a terrible idea, but
Right.
but we're gonna send it whether it's good track, bad track, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference. I think the No Prep guys. I'm not saying the Pro Mod guys couldn't come over and do well. They might. But I'm telling you, I'll pick a No Prep guy every day because the No Prep guys are absolute gangsters in any series. I think the guys from No Prep King, Speed Promotion, I'll put them up against anybody. I don't care what class we're racing. These teams have over the last 10 years they have just they've become incredible, in my opinion. Everybody that we race against the No Prep Kings.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, looking at it for me is I think you guys are on no prep surfaces. Some of them are not great. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of them are like similar to a prep track, but some are not. And you guys really got to know how to drive. And the tuning is even crazier when it comes to that. You know what I mean? So, and you guys use the same tuners for, I mean, like and you guys have the same exact stuff. They just have, Pro Mod just longer wheelbase, lighter, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I had no doubt you guys would be able to go there and do as well as you guys did. So it was awesome to see you, Kai, everybody was doing really. Mike Bowman, that last race, you guys were doing really good, man, and it was awesome to see. I was rooting for you guys for sure.
Absolutely, even Larry Larson, Robin Roberts. I don't think anybody did bad. I think they all did fantastic.
Not at all.
So
right.
I was proud of everybody. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but I'm proud of everybody that came over there and tried. Some of them have a few issues here and there, but they put in a great effort and they done just as good as the rest of the field, I guess I would say.
Definitely. Now, unlike MPK, scoreboards are on, reaction time is on. Is your preparation or process different from MPK because now you go into a race and you know exactly how fast your competition has gone the previous round? Is that different? That's got to be a different mindset, I would think.
It is. It's a different feeling. Like I'm going to say I probably make more tune-up mistakes knowing. Because like when I rolled in against Mark Mickey, we had a fast tune-up and a slow tune-up. Like they were built, they were ready to rock. I mean, you're sitting there looking at Mark Mickey, #1 qualifier. Which tune-up you going with? I mean, it's the middle of the day. I should have went with a slow one, but y'all know me. I went with all of it. And and that's the pass that they got the picture on of it wheeling, and I went slower, but he knocked the tire off completely. So, I mean, a 71 wasn't so bad when your competitor knocks a tire off,
Right.
It was a really tricky racetrack, but I chose violence on that one. So
for sure. If your schedule allows it, Scott, are you going to do any Pro Mod races this year in 2025?
Probably so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's definitely on the radar. The car is needing a little bit of TLC right now. As we actually got it here. It's we got the work on the front end, and I got to get the intake repaired. So it's outside of that, and it's pretty much ready to go. We had to freshen the motor up one night during the race, so the motor's good and fresh now.
Sweet. Nice. Let's go back a little bit. Let's get into No Prep Kings. Let's talk about season 7. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best, if not the best seasons, competition wise that I've seen. There was nobody that stood out like they were dominating. And I think going into No Prep Elite, honestly, Murder Nova was the #1 guy going into it, and he had been doing well. But it was just that time of the 4 races where I was like, I think anybody in the top, I think it was like 6 or 8. I was like, I think they got any of these guys could actually win the championship. But you started out the season with twin turbos, and it didn't last the whole season.
No.
Why did you try twin turbos, and how hard was the decision to switch back to Pro Charger in the middle of the season like that?
It was so the reason I tried it was, man, turbos just make so much power, and it looks so fantastic on paper. And who knows, I may try turbo again in a different situation. Just I don't have anything against them. They just physically wouldn't work good enough for me on the no prep. Did they make power? They make great power. But the back end of our no prep racetrack just isn't good enough to hold 215, 20 miles an hour.
Right.
That's the problem with the turbo cars. You got to run 215 to where a screw car only has to go 200, and it just won't hold up out there. But halfway through I wanted to give it a whole season. But when they literally told us that, they're taking the top 16 and that's it, you're not even invited to the rest of the race. You can come hang out, but that's it. No car, no nothing. And I'm not good watching. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to swap everything back to Pro Charger. I'm going to go back to what I know. And we just, put our heads down and kept rolling and kept trying to improve. And next thing you know, we got the car working. And the moment we got the car working, it was like a switch. I felt like we was the team to beat when the switch flipped.
Yeah. Was that when you thought maybe, obviously you knew you were going to be in the No Prep Elite by that time? You had the car rolling. You win an event. I think it was like the last or second. Was it the last event of the regular?
The last
season?
regular event. Yeah.
Yeah. So going into No Prep Elite, did you think, hey, like I can win this damn thing?
Absolutely. I'll tell you where it really come together for us was the US 131. Everybody asked me which win is most important to us, which one we like the best, but obviously we like both wins. But the US 131 was terrible. We lucked our way all the way through it. We made some good passes early, and then we had a converter bearing or something was going out. We didn't know what it was at the time. We was changing everything. We was working around the car, but it kept slowing down every single pass. And I was literally a sitting duck in the finals. I told my guys, I'm like, man, y'all don't get disappointed, but there is no way we can win this race. I said, our car is so slow. And when I mean slow, it was like, I don't know, 600-700 slower than normal. So just a little bit, it's a lot, but it's a little bit,
Right.
And so we lucked our way through that thing. Unfortunately for Robin, he missed the tree and we crushed the tree, and we picked up a win there, but it felt good, but it didn't feel like we just went out there and outrun everybody. And any drag racer, you might like a win, but any drag racer wants to, they want.
Ooh, I just lost Scott. I don't know what happened. Trying to get him back. Hey, Scott, I see you.
All right, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Did
you get a phone call?
Yeah, I did. I need to I'm fixing to fix it right now. I apologize.
That's all right. I've been doing this long enough. I usually know what happens when that happens.
I'm going to airplane mode.
I got you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to go to airplane mode, but it didn't like that either. So.
Oh, yeah. You usually got to do that before.
Yep.
We're good now. We got it.
But yeah, I guess what I was saying is you want to win. You want to outrun everybody on the property, and that's what we did the second time we won. we had the fastest hot rod from pass one to ever how many passes it took to win the whole race. You know, I felt like we had the fastest car on that racetrack that day. And after that, I thought we had what it took to win the whole deal. But
Yeah, so in No Prep Elite, you won the second event that you just talked about. The third event, you made it to the semifinals. So going into the last event, you were right in the line for the championship. There was like I think 5 or 6 of you that had a mathematical chance. You were sitting good.
yeah,
You just need to basically get past Sean. I think it was someone else was in second, or you were in second. But anyway, so it came down to the second round race against Paige. Talk about that race, and that was the loss that took you out of the running. Obviously, what did
Yeah.
you feel at the time it happened, and now looking back, does it affect you at all when you think about how great of a season you actually had?
you know, I mean, it was just meant to be the way it fell. You know, we had a little bit of an issue on that run, and we didn't know what it was at the time. It was only till later I found out what really happened. But we went out in the middle, and I thought it just lost the tire out there, and we didn't go for it. Like we didn't put in any crazy tune-up. It was the tune-up that we had just run against Kai. I was like, we're just going to leave the tune-up. We're not going crazy. We're just going down the racetrack. I think we'll be fine. And not to take anything away from her, she's super fast, but I just thought that we were racing the racetrack at that time, you know. And so we left that tune up, and out in the middle, it just lost the tire completely. And then when it lost the tire, she was able to drive back around me. And so we parked the car, had no clue what was going on, just chalked it up to losing the tire. But what happened was the converter had split, and it had sprayed transmission fluid everywhere. We didn't notice it until we actually put the motor and transmission over in the Pro Mod, and the first time we fired it up, it was spraying fluid everywhere. So
Wow.
and I was like, well, that makes sense because it's done it once before, and it actually done it pass one against Chris Rankin at Steele, Alabama. There was a pass that it got really wild and outside, and Rankin almost beat me. I'm talking about it was inches.
I remember that race. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yep.
so that's what happened then. We had to go back to the pits and fix it, but it blew an O-ring out of the torque converter, and it just sprays fluid everywhere when it does it. So
Okay.
that was two times that it got us, and we think we had overheated that platform or something, so we had to change torque converter platforms to sort of get rid of that issue.
Okay, so that's what the fix you think is?
Yeah, we just changed bodies. It's rough. You get these things so hot, especially with turbo cars and stuff like that. So we use a lot of the same parts and just change stators and stuff between all of it. But but my takeaway was it's about the same as the Pro Mod deal. We left on a high note, and now we're ready to get back started. I am so excited to get back started. Like you might talk to me after 3 races and I'll be like this, but right now, I mean, I'm literally, grinning ear to ear, ready to get back out there and get to racing. I mean,
yeah, let's talk about it, Scott. That's the big buzz right now. The new season of what was formerly known as No Prep Kings is now called Speed Promotions Racing. You talk about your excitement. I mean, season 8, we'll call it season 8 because that's what it is to me. It's not only going to be good, I think, for the racers, but I think the fans are excited. I think this is really going to be an awesome season. Talk about how you feel about it.
I'm super excited from coming off of last season and going back and hopefully we can pick up where we left off. I think it built our confidence a little bit to go out and race with the Pro Mod guys and know that we can race with anybody. And probably the most thing that interests me is knowing that this season it's not invite only, it's everybody. And so I'm so excited for anybody that has ever talked smack, for anybody that's ever thought that we were out there racing off a script. This is your time to shine. If you ain't got a race car, go buy one. I'm telling you, if you think you got what it takes, come on out there. You can come to any event. You ain't got to come to a special event. Any event they are, and we'll take a first round call out from anybody out there. I don't care who they are, what they're doing. And that's what I'm excited about. If Stevie Fast wants to come over here and race, I'll take him first round. I
Nice.
think he's one of the greatest racers there's ever been. But that's the kind of people we want to race against. What I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we see some of those type of people there. Who some may or may not have, especially early on, talked crap about you guys and what you guys do. And so, it's now there's no excuses. Now it's not invite. It's not invite only. Now it's
Absolutely.
get yourself a car and come no prep racing.
If Donald Long wants to dust some of that Cheeto dust off and buy him a car and put Stevie Fast in it, I'm all for it. You know how he throws those big numbers out. People got back tire, this and that. If he wants a bet over here, he's got it.
Nice. All right. I look forward to that. There were some live feeds recently this week. The 405 had one. You were on with NOLA. You guys had one. Boosted. Talking about small tires. I guess looks like there's 12 events as of right now for this season. And we all know how that goes. There'll probably be some more. My first question to you is: do you plan on going to all 12 events?
As of right now, more than likely, but I know we're going to do all the points races and all the smallest tire races. Everything in the country we're planning on. I'm sure we end up making our way to Canada. I haven't locked in 100% on the Canada races, but all the other races I've locked in on.
Nice.
Good Lord willing, we'll be at all the races in the States.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, there's 7 points races. There's 3 races in Canada, and then there's 2 small tire events. Which
Yeah.
one of those types of races are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, the 7 points races is going to be awesome, but I mean, it's hard to say. But I mean, I definitely going to be excited about the small tire stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could press a button and make the whole season small tire, I would do it. I mean, if I get the opportunity to run John Doe on smalls, I mean, that's like that's like a field day. Like I love it. That's like taking a recess or something. It's something I love. Is small tire, and I love the big tire stuff, but I don't know what it is about small tire. Maybe it's the tuning or the work that it takes to go fast, and some people can master it and some can't. And
Yeah.
and even the radials. I mean, so I've never been fast on a radial ever. I think the fastest I've ever been on a radial is like, I don't know, 440 or 450. So I mean, a full second off the pace. And that was years and years and years ago. That we went that, but I'm excited about the radial race. I'm excited about the small tire race, and I'll probably end up in Canada too because I'm excited about Canada. So, I mean, I really am. So you could probably just pretty much chalk me up for the whole season.
Yeah. Let's talk about Canada. So you obviously have done the what they call Outlaws versus the World or something like that. But you've done the Australia, the Canada last year. If you do the Canada races, have you guys talked about bringing big tire cars this time against those guys?
That's the word on the street is they think they have what it takes with big tires. And they might be right. That may be more comparable race. Maybe we take our NPK cars and let them bring pro mods,
Yeah.
and then maybe that would square things up a bit,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited about whether it's small tire, big tire. I mean, we honestly had some good races over there. They the way we matched it up and the way I think our whole team was able to give up enough, on the links and the hit and all the things that we gave up. It turned out to be a pretty exciting deal over there.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed like it on the live feeds. It was.
Yeah.
I'm talking with some of the other guys. It seemed like there was a great, and the fans were crazy. It seemed like they all came out both races.
Yeah.
Fans wise. So
I definitely want to go, defend the record that I had over there. They're probably they'll be gunning for me for sure. But I mean, so we only had I don't even remember how many races I did, but it was like 14 or 15 races over there in 2 weeks, and I only lost one. So
right. Yeah.
so I'm definitely excited to go back over there.
For sure. The point series, we had mentioned that it's not invite only. Anybody can show up. Like you say, show up to 1 race, show up to 7 races, whatever you want to do. With that extra, I I guess, additive to it, the change to it. Do you feel like this year, and we'll get into the limited rules that they have in a minute, but do you feel like this year could really be anybody's championship? And do you feel like you have, a great shot at winning one?
I do. I think this whole season is. I mean, I really think it's just going to be opened up to anybody because the rules being unlimited, and there's anybody that's going can win the championship. Somebody asked me if they thought Ryan would dominate. I personally don't think anybody is able to dominate anymore. As far as the teams have come, not saying. I mean, would I pick Ryan to win a race? I would. Absolutely. I mean, statistically, he has won multiple races every single season. So I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll win a race. Could he win the championship? Absolutely. Could our team win the championship? Absolutely. I feel like we could. But that goes, I could name 10 or 12 teams that I think could win the championship.
Mhm.
And I mean, Ryan, I'm gonna say he was a little bit ahead of us, is what happened. He absolutely crushed it, and then
Good.
and he's continued to get better, but everybody else put in the work to sort of catch up a little bit. It was a ton of work on all these teams to catch up. I can tell you that, but a lot of them had caught up. The racing is really even. Even without rules, I think y'all find that it's still even. I'm hoping, I could be wrong, but I feel like there'll be multiple combos still win, even though the rules are non-existent, basically.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So you guys can do 36-inch tires if you'd like. I'm guessing some might still do 34.5, but there's limited rules. You just got to have steel roof and quarters, right? Got to be a door car, 36-inch tires. But there's no weight as of right now. There's no no weight. And I know you just said, do you think now in my mind, right? I just watched Kai Kelly at the World Series of Pro Mod at his weight, um, run in the 50s, and that was on prep track. So do you think because that it's no prep, because the races will, I think all of them or most of them will be no prep, do you think that is why Screwblower won't have the best advantage?
I think on paper they have the best advantage right now, but I think in reality, I think that you're 100% correct. I think because the track not being great out the back, those Screwblowers run hard out the back, and
Mhm.
I think it's going to get them in trouble. When Kai goes fast, his car never comes off the wheelie bars,
Yeah,
and I just don't see that happening consistently on no prep.
right.
I don't think that I could run my pro mod the way I run it on no prep. Like,
Right.
wheels up all the way down the racetrack. It's just that's a recipe for aborted runs on no prep.
Mhm.
So I don't think like the reason I say that is the track wasn't as good at um the last Drag Illustrated race. The track wasn't quite as good as it was the second race, and I seen some of those cars slowing down just a bit. There wasn't many cars lighting off in the 50s. Most of them were bottom 60s. So just that little bit of track prep difference, I feel like slowed them down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
so I think it's going to be fantastic racing, and I hope it is because I mean, if there's no rules, you ain't got to worry about. I mean, we literally sweating bullets every time we cross the scales. I'm pounding a water before as I'm pushing the car back, just making sure just that water that I drink, makes me overweight.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
but because if you're not racing right on the line, chances are you probably didn't have a chance.
Right.
But now I can pull all that weight out of the car, and I think if it was prepped, it would probably be a huge disadvantage for a driver my size.
Mhm.
But with a no prep, I don't think that'd be so bad.
Yeah, and I look at it like I think with limited rules, no rules, I feel like everybody thinks they have a chance. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
everybody thinks like there's no like, okay, well, I got a Pro Charger and I got to be let this weight. I got to do this. I don't think I'm going to be as fast as a Screwblower. No, it's like you don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people with nitrous and blower, and you know what I mean. There's going to be everybody trying anything they could possibly get to pass, and there's no times being shown, right? So, I mean, you really do think you have a chance to win it all. Why would you not?
For sure, for sure. You know, and I think people will make, you know, including myself, I may make mistakes as well, but I think people will make mistakes. Some of these cars run better with weight in them than they do without it. You know, I think everybody's going to try to get as light as possible, and that may not yield the best race car. So I think, and then by the time you figure it out, the season's over. It's 7 races. I mean, 7 races is going to be gone. Like you seen that, you know, that Elite 16 deal. I mean, it's over
Yeah.
before you get started.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yep.
7 races, you better bring your A game on race number 1.
Yeah, you guys are used to like 12 to 15 races where you can switch combinations in the middle of it and still
Yeah,
go run for a championship. I don't think you're gonna be able to do that in this one, Scott. It's
that
only
is not
7
going to work
races.
out. And you know, here's my brain. You know, it's rolling, and they said no rules, and I'm like turbo, pro charger, screw blower, and I'm like, oh, okay, no. I had to put my foot back on the ground and say I'm gonna stay right where I'm at. You know.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
But it's gonna be an exciting season. The rules, you know, I think it's gonna be good. We'll see where it lands. You know, who knows? We won't know till we try it. You know, if it does
Right.
work out, I think it's pretty gangster that it don't have any rules.
Right. Yeah. I think
Less
so too.
work.
I hope
gotta
it does.
We ain't got to put these cars on scales and take that time down the big end. That's just more time we can spend with the fans. You know.
Yeah. When does testing starts for you, Scott?
Well, my car is a bare chassis right now, so if Bad Habit Fabrication's watching, man, he needs to get to it. No, I'm kidding. He's working really hard. He's working around the clock right now. He's got him and another guy on it. They're working 12 hours a day, maybe even more some days. But the chassis is totally done. He's fit and finished everything, every component on the car. Now all they got to do is take it apart and paint it and reassemble it, and then we're headed over to Dykes and Strippers wiring and get it wired. And then as soon as it's wired, I'll get back to it and I'll put the motor, transmission, rear gear, you know, get all the wheelie bars on it. I'll finish the final assembly here at the shop. But once they get it that close, within a week, I'll have it ready to go testing. So I'm gonna say 30 days. I'm hoping to be testing.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. The small tire stuff. As soon as I heard the small tire and all the details and everything, my mind went right to, will guys use some guys who have, like yourself, have a small tire car, or will you put your MPK car on small tires or something like that? Have you thought about that? Is that a decision you're going to have to make? Are you going to put the old faithful on the small tires? Is it up to date enough? I mean,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
question
You
for
know, that's so the problem is John Doe is a very old car.
Mhm.
It performs way better than it should to be as old as it is. But at the end of the day, it runs well. Like, I mean, it runs really well on smalls. But
Does.
so I'm at least probably going to have to try the MPK car on smalls and see if I can outrun that number. So the good news is
Right.
I can write a number on John Doe's window, and that's what I can run with it.
Right.
The new car, if I go out and go faster, I know which one I need to bring. So
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna just take that car. I'm gonna have to try both.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I was going to say you probably test them both and see whatever's faster.
Yeah. The good
Um,
news is I don't even have to test John Doe. I mean, I know what it can go. I can unload in Australia or Canada or wherever, and I can go
Mhm.
fast with John Doe.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
So if I can take the new car and go faster than that, we got something to work with.
For sure. I look forward to it, man. It's going to be a great season. All kinds of stuff going on. If you want, Scott, we'll take a couple questions from people in the chat.
Sure. One thing I did want to mention. Did you see the payout for the Little Gangsters class?
No, is it not 5K? 10K?
$10,000 for Little
Holy
Gangsters.
man, that is
So I
awesome.
think that's going to be huge. I mean, that deal
Yeah.
there, you don't have to have the biggest motor or, you know, I mean, it's got a 530 cap. I mean, the Little Gangsters class, 10 grand. I mean, who knows? I may have John Doe in that. It'd be a big gangster and a little gangster.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah, so I totally forgot about that, but I saw that on the the 405 live feed that Jimmy Dale and those guys are going to have the little gangsters, and I
Yeah.
think they're going to do 4. I think he said 4 at least 4 races.
Yeah,
for
I'm not
the-
sure I'm not sure how many it is, but if y'all see the little gangsters on the list, man, y'all need to sign up for it. It's
10K.
it's gonna be gangsters. That's all you can say.
Definitely. That's awesome. I saw a question here. Is there, and maybe you don't know, I haven't heard about this one yet, but is there still a rule about testing within 200 miles, or is that gone away?
Man, I'll have to see, but I'm gonna imagine that rule's gone.
I would think so, right?
We'll see, you know, but just to be blunt, that rule was never about testing anyway. It was just about being loyal to what we're doing.
Right.
We didn't want to draw people away, you know, a few days before an event, you know.
Exactly. Yep.
So it could be there and it could be gone, but that's more of a protecting the brand kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And which
Definitely.
I 100% agree with, you know.
Yeah, for sure. There was a real reason for that, but like you said, I think that's
It may be out the window now. They're
out the window
they're
now.
really truly wanting it to be a no rules, you know,
Yeah, outlaw.
except the steel body, you know.
Yep. Trayton has a question. Have you ran John Doe with a Proline engine yet, or just the BAE?
We have not run John Doe with the Proline yet. But when it comes back, it will have a Proline motor in it. So it's next time down the racetrack will be Proline.
Nice.
So it run pretty good with the Brad stuff. But when we go back, we'll have the bigger blower on it and the Proline engine.
And for your Pro Charger for your MPK car?
Oh yeah, for sure. Pro Charger. Yeah. It's going to take a lot to get me to switch away from Pro Charger at this point. I've ventured away, and they when I called them, they took me back. So that was probably one of the hardest deals ever. And you know, the only reason I went away was because of rules and stuff. You know, I thought they were. Sometimes the grass is greener, looks greener on the other side, but it's not really. You know, as far as the weights and stuff. But I thought the turbo deal was going to be fantastic, but it just wasn't for us.
Yep. Adam Mason has a question. Is it true April 1st Street Outlaws comes on?
Absolutely. It's
yes, locals only.
As some of the 405 guys said, terrible date to pick for that deal.
It is.
But it's real this time, y'all. Like, so maybe somebody up there sitting behind a desk has a great sense of humor. They're like, oh, last time we joked about it, but this time we're gonna make it April 1st.
I said they had to be on purpose. There's no way that just happened like that.
No, they're like, oh, we're gonna make everybody laugh on this deal.
Yeah, and I heard actually. So, and sounded like if the viewership is good on locals only, that there's a good chance they'll air the regular season 6. So
Yeah.
if you watch it, watch it. I think we haven't seen Street Outlaws now on TV for a couple of years. So everybody tune in. Let's get it back on TV.
You know, I personally think it's going to be a hit. I mean, it's been forever since it's been on. I'm going to say maybe we burn everybody out with it because it was on so much. They went to the longer episodes. I mean, even when you go golfing or you go racing or no matter what you do, if you do it an extreme amount, it gets tiring. So I think when it comes back out, when it airs, I think it's going to be on.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the break actually made it more people want to watch it. You know,
Yeah, desirable. You know, thought
Exactly,
after. You
yep.
know, I think people want to see it now.
Christy Backer Bowman, it's going to be on Discovery Channel. It's going to be airing it. They own the right. Basically, they own the rights to it. Both the locals only and this regular season 6 of No Prep King. So it'll be on Discovery April 1st. I think it's a Tuesday night. Got to check it out. Everybody's got to check it out. Got to get lots of views on it.
For sure. One of the other deals I wanted to mention is you don't have to have a Pro Mod style car with a steel body. You don't have to have a car that runs 530. If you have a bracket car, we got 7.0 class. I mean, there's multiple classes. Daily driver. We want everybody to be a part of this deal. And we want everybody to have a spot. If you want to come race with us, there's a class at every single event that you can come race in. And that's what we want. We want to, I mean, we've been trying to grow the sport for, 11, 12 years now, and we're not stopping here. I think this is going to be the absolute very best year for Street Outlaws and growing the brand and growing the sport. We're trying to, everybody that wants to race, we want to have a spot to race.
Yeah, I hear you, Scott. You're exactly right. I mean, I've seen it. If you're local, bring your daily driver. Like, just come experience it. Come hang out with the Street Outlaws guys. Like, come hang out with the drivers. They're nice. All of them are nice. They'll talk to you. You know what I mean? It's a cool experience. You get to come out and witness and race with some top notch drag racers. So
Absolutely. Yeah. If you've ever wanted to take your daily driver and get in front of thousands of people, this is the place to do it. I mean,
yeah.
put that camshaft in, call Isky and get that kit. I'm telling you,
There
call
you go.
ProCharger and get that kit. I guarantee you'll have a great time if you come out and race with us.
Yep. Dusty says, will there be a big and small tire racing on the weekends with the big money small tire races?
Yep, they'll have small tire at all the events, as far as I know, and then they'll also have a what I would call a second chance. There's probably a better name for it, but second chance bracket that starts after round one on big tire. So there's 2 big tire classes as well. So anybody that loses round one got a whole nother race for you.
Yep, and then the small tire events are just small tire racing, I believe, right, Scott?
No, I think they have a big tire class there as well.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yep. It's
Okay.
just the anybody that wants to race big tire.
So it's still a full show. So like basically, it's still a full show, or no?
Well, it won't. Most of the invite guys are not invite. Most of the normal guys will be racing small tire.
Right.
But the open big tire, basically the second chance race, will still be happening for anybody that wants to come run big tire.
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
So basically, the outlaw, what we used to call the outlaw big tire, that
Yep.
class will still be happening if somebody wants to come race.
Okay, cool. That's some more. Where can we watch this season? Where can we watch this season's MPK? I don't know if you've heard, Scott. I haven't heard anything in particular. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to for sure live feed.
I've heard it's going to be. I heard it's going to be streamed. I don't have all the answers for that right now. I'm going to say very, very soon we'll have some more info concerning that.
There you go. But if you're local to one of the races, definitely come to the race. Check it out. For sure. I think it's probably about it, Scott, for questions. There seem to be some ones that you already answered.
Gotcha.
I do appreciate you coming on, man. It's like I said, it's been over a year. I always enjoy talking with you.
Yeah, it's great to catch up.
Knowledgeable, and you're a good guy for this, man. You really are. You're a fan favorite. And like I said, I was so happy to see you win your first No Prep Kings Invitational last year, and hopefully you win a bunch more this year. So appreciate you, man.
I really appreciate you having us on, and thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot to us. And if you can make out to one of the races, please do. Come see us, look us up, come talk with us at the races. If you want to come racing, come race with us, guys. We're looking to meet every one of y'all, and we are super excited about this season.
Awesome. Well, have a good night, Scott.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
See ya.
All right, bye-bye.